Hey buddy, hope you're doing good and you're having a good day. Thank you for getting yourself checked in for me, mate. Much appreciated as always. So, a really good week in terms of actual weight loss. Obviously, body weight's coming down quite a bit. In terms of how you're feeling actually in yourself, I think the majority of why you're not feeling obviously as lean this week is probably because of obviously being away this weekend. You said obviously over the bank holiday your gym was closed. Obviously, moreover, I travelled to Essex and wasn't able to get to a gym despite looking to find one that was open. So I'm guessing you were potentially staying away from your normal home. So usually food will probably be kind of where it falls. Training, obviously not training, usually that means that you don't usually get as much of a pump as well. So it makes you feel a little bit kind of flat and skinnier, which is fairly normal, okay? But with your weight loss, I don't really feel like you probably would be less lean. Should be more lean, really, with your weight loss. I think it's probably just the fact with obviously things just not being able to train, being out of your normal kind of home routine and everything will probably be the reason for that, mate. Okay, because your weight again is down today. Like I think you weighed in this morning and you were 207. So considering you started that week at 209.8, you're actually down 2 pounds from the start of last week. You're down 2.5 pounds from the start of last week. So you really should be feeling a lot leaner, which is strange. You might just need a bit of a refeed day. I'm not sure how the weekend went with food, mate. But I'm guessing it wasn't too bad, seeing as obviously you actually dropped weight. So you said despite being away from training and in the company of friends who don't have the same lifestyles, obviously yourself and myself, tried my hardest to limit caloric intake, especially on days where I knew alcohol would be involved. I also wore my Fitbit out clubbing and did not drink much alcohol, even when prompted to do so. Yeah, it's the peer pressure when you're out, isn't it? It's a pain in the ass, like especially when you're dieted. Like right now, I don't really care if like my friends go drinking because I'll just go with them because I'm in a gaining phase. It's not a big issue. But when I'm dieting, it's like I don't really want to go. But I'm glad you still went and enjoyed yourself. Obviously, if you've had a bit of alcohol as well, potentially the reason why might not be feeling your normal self is through to dehydration. Okay, so alcohol obviously dehydrates you, so it can make you feel kind of flat, quite skinny, potentially a bit watery as well. Some people react differently to alcohol. I usually tend to get quite tight when I drink alcohol and usually get a little bit leaner, which is weird, obviously through the dehydration, but some people react the opposite way. So it might just be through to that. And I think it's just going to be down to the fact that you were away from your normal food sources, you're out of your normal routine. So I think that's definitely one of the reasons why, mate. Okay. So you said gym performance has been good. However, I feel like a pair of squat shoes will benefit me greatly. I've always found that I have poor ankle mobility. Yes, get some, mate. Definitely, 100%. Like in terms of your squatting numbers, you're obviously squatting about 120, 125 kilo, 126 kilo. So you would probably benefit from them from an ankle mobility perspective as well, mate. That's one of the biggest things. Obviously, the squat shoes, they have that raised heel, so you will find that your ankle mobility should be a little bit better in them as well. So you've got two options with squat shoes in terms of what's best. It depends on obviously your budget, because you've got Nike Remelios, which are an epic shoe, but they're expensive. I would avoid the one with the one strap. That's the Nike Remelio 3s. Just because the one strap, it gets really bad reviews. If you can, get the double strap one, which is the Remelios 2, and they probably should be cheaper. I think you could probably pick a pair of them up for maybe like 70 quid potentially, or you've got the cheaper options, which is the Adidas Powerlifts. Okay, so they're like kind of the other variant brand against the Nikes. Yeah, I think you've got Reebok. They do different CrossFit shoes as well, but the best ones I've found is the Nike so far. But if you want me to double check, mate, you can always just send me a link and I'll just have a look for you as well. Okay. So with your week this week with training, all right, I'm not going to put you on a full deload because I don't think you need it, and I think I've said to you on WhatsApp, I think you'll tear your hair out with one. You won't enjoy it because you're not that type of person, but we still need to have a block of lower volume because it's not going to then take into effect when we go into our next training block. Obviously, the fatigue we need to drop. So this week, mate, what I'd like you to do is obviously, for example, here where we've done 3 sets of squats, you've done 8, 6, 10, and then 8 plus 5, and obviously done kind of some form of rest, pause, or failure there. I'd like you to just back off that a little bit this week, okay? Just so we've actually got our chance to actually see some fatigue management come through. So this week, instead of focusing on kind of your pain through the DOM side of things and like pushing past failure and using like negative work. Just focus on progressions in your actual lifting loads. So for example, you've got 3 sets on squats this week at 6 to 8. Okay, so your goal this week will be to try and get 120 for all sets of 8. Okay, and that will equal a ton more volume and a ton more quality volume than doing this kind of stuff at the end. Okay, so I just want you to focus on that, because your fatigue will drop from it doing it as well. You won't get as much DOMs, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to come away from this week not having the DOMs going into next week as well. Okay, so it's the same for obviously this stuff here. Try not to do like the ending bits at the end as you would normally do. So I've taken out some of your drop sets and down sets and your last sets to failure as well. So just watch out for that. Obviously, if it's not there, don't do it, okay? Because I want you to feel rested. This isn't a full deload. Most of the time, a full deload is a lot lower volume than this. But like I said, I know you're going to tear your hair out if I give you a full deload. So we're giving you this kind of still training hard week. We're still going to train hard in this week. We're still going to try and progress, but the volume is going to be so much lower that you should then feel not fatigued going into next week, okay? So we'll do a block review as well. So I'm going to send you over a form with this check-in, all right? So just to fill it in about this training block, what you feel has went well, what hasn't went well, what you want to progress on in the next block, and we can obviously get some plans in place for the next block, and you'll have your new training ready to start on Monday next week, all right? With your body weight, mate, because you weighed in at so low today, I don't want to change anything because you're down 2.5 pounds from last week's numbers. What I'd like, though, is actually your weigh-in tomorrow, all right? Because I don't want to make a change just based on what this weigh-in is, because it could go up, could go down, could stay the same. And I think you getting back into your normal training routine, you'll start to feel normal again, and we should just see your normality resume, okay? So I'm not going to change anything. Like, your body weight's dropping, so it just seems silly for me to change something when it doesn't need to be changed, all right, mate? So tomorrow, let me know what your weigh-in is. And then we'll go from there with obviously that. And if it's kind of not where I want it to be, I'll make a change to food and we'll go from there. All right, dude? So any questions, shoot them over. I'll speak to you later on today.